Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Harmon Museum, our October Lunch and Learn. I am John Zunkus. I'm the Education Director and Historian here, and I thought I'd let you know what's going on in the museum for the next month or so. We have our Lebanon Ghost Walks going on Friday and Saturday now through Halloween, the 17th and 18th, the 24th and the 25th, and the 31st and November 1st. They are 7 o'clock. It's a new route. If you've been on it before, it'll be slightly different. $20 if you'd like to come join us. We're going to have the Harmon Museum Ghost Hunt here at the museum on Friday and Saturday of the, I believe it's the 24th and 25th, if I'm not mistaken. Jeannie, do you know what date that is?
Yes, 24th and 25th, Friday and Saturday.
Okay, I was correct. Okay, that will be from 8 until 10, and we'll have paranormal investigators with all the proper gizmo, the voice phenomenon recorder and what have you, the electromagnetic field detector, and limited to only 30 people. If you'd like to come join, it'll be $35. October 17th, we're going to have, which is this Friday, we're going to have an opening of a new art exhibit in the Semendinger Art Gallery in Harmon Museum. It will be the Cincinnati Art Alliance. Artists from Westchester, Mainville, Mason, and Anderson Township will display some of their works between 6:30 and 8:30. There's an open house, which is free. Come join us, enjoy some hors d'oeuvres and refreshments, and take a look at the first day of that art exhibit. It'll be up until November 7th. On November 21st, we're going to have an exhibit on Tom Corwin. Tom Corwin, sort of forgotten today, unfortunately, a contemporary of Henry Clay and Daniel Webster, the most famous speaker in the United States prior to the Civil War. A fantastic resume, governor of the state, United States Senator, member of the General Assembly of Ohio, Secretary Treasury of the United States, minister to Mexico, and one of Lincoln's pallbearers at his funeral in Washington. And also one-time presidential candidate, and seriously considered that. I don't know, some of you may remember the TV show Profiles in Courage, 1964. Their very last episode was all about Tom Corwin, how he possibly could have been a president had it not spoken out against the Mexican War. He is a Lebanon, not a native born in Kentucky, but Lebanon brought up, 4 years old, and so far buried here in town. Nephew of one of our town founders. That exhibit will go on through January. And to coincide with that, I will be giving a lecture on Tom Corwin in our December Lunch and Learn. So other things going on, November 13th, a Thursday, the novella Nemo Black, manager of the docents and special events at the National Underground Railroad Freedom Center, will be part of our Twilight Lecture Series, which will be on a Thursday night, $15, 7 to 8. We have a lecture in the evening going on for a good part of the year now. I think you'll enjoy that. So we have a lot of other interesting things. Something new we're trying. You might be interested in this too. Beginning Wednesday, November 19th at 9 o'clock in the morning, we will have yoga at the Harmon. We will have Brittany Hopper, a certified yoga instructor who has done this sort of thing at the Cincinnati Art Museum. She will be conducting yoga classes. Initially, it's going to be in the Shaker Gallery. Only $5 a lesson if you'd like to come and try that. We'll see how that goes. I think you'll enjoy it. So it's something a little bit different. Coming up, future Lunch and Learns. On November 19th, we have Connections. Sue Watts, who has been, if I had to pick one individual who changed this room into the beautiful Art Deco conference center it is today, it would be Sue Watts. She worked diligently on this. She has been involved, and now on board of trustees, been involved with the Harmon Museum for decades now. She will give a talk on connections, the connections from the past to the present, how an invention hundreds, if not thousands of years ago was tweaked through the years to become what we have today. Everything from minor things like the way we plant, the clothes we wear, to transportation and the movement of water from the ancient Romans to what we have today. It should be a fascinating little lunch and learn lecture. As I mentioned, I'll be your speaker in December. I'm with December 17th. January 21st, Ormsey McKnight Mitchell. Pam Adams will talk about this Renaissance man. Born in Kentucky, grew up here in Lebanon, left Lebanon as a teenager to become a student at West Point. Graduated at age 19, stayed at West Point to become a mathematics instructor. Then he helped plan the Little Miami Railway. He helped establish the Cincinnati Observatory, and he fought during the Civil War. Fascinating man. And then on February 18th, Abraham Lincoln will be here. Yes, with the help of Mr. John Cooper from Columbus, Abe will be here. I have heard that with Mr. Cooper's assistance, Abe has given some fantastic lectures on what it was like being president, the 16th president of the United States. And that'll be on February 18th. So we have a lot of exciting things coming up at the Harmon Museum. Hopefully you will all be able to join us again for those. And we will have our speaker in just a little bit. Welcome once again, ladies and gentlemen, to the Harmon Museum's Lunch and Learn for October. I'm John Zimkus, the Education Director and Historian here. Our speaker today is Linda Martin. What brought Linda Martin to our attention here at the Harmon Museum, believe it or not, was trombones. Our Jeannie Doan, our assistant director, our curator, and a person with dozens of other job titles. Every time we find her something to do, she gets another title so she can do it. But her husband is an active member in the Bones of Cincinnatus. The trombone, no, it's not a quartet. It was as many as 25 people and as little as 5. But they've been here before. Some of you may have enjoyed them. But Jeannie told me once that the sister of the wife of another trombonist, Jane Coyle, her sister collects Halloween artifacts and has been collecting them for years. And so I contacted Linda, and unfortunately it was, I believe, in the fall of 2020. I mean, things were shut down for COVID. So we tried to have a virtual lunch and learn. It looked good, but the recording didn't come out. So eventually we had her. And then and shortly after that, we had a Valentine's one, and then a Christmas one, and then an Easter one. But then I thought, well, after 5 years, it's time to bring Halloween back. And I must tell you, looking at these things, I think some of these are new old things, which I haven't seen before.
Yeah, most of it is new today here. I didn't bring much of my past.
Okay, so even those of you who may have seen her talk about her Halloween artifacts, this is something new and exciting. She has a fascinating collection going back 100 years or more. She knows her stuff, and if you have any Halloween decorations from the past you don't want, that's the person.
That's right. Come see me.
Ladies and gentlemen, my great pleasure, Linda Martin.
Thank you, John. Thank you. That was kind. Well, good morning. We're still morning, yes. For those of you that don't know me, or this is your first time that you've come, like he said, I'm an avid Halloween collector. I'm a Christmas collector, Easter collector, Valentine, patriotic, lipstick holders, perfume bottles. It goes on and on and on. So I have a lot of collections that I like to pick up while we're out shopping. I started Halloween with these two noisemakers many years ago, like in 1996. I was at a antique show at the Dayton Mall, and they had these. I think they were $5. And my husband said, you ought to pick those up. You really like that stuff. So this is what started it. These two little metal noisemakers that I still own, that I put out every year to remind me where this has taken me to. It's getting harder and harder for me to find any type of holiday, anything out at flea markets we walk, antique shows, holiday shows, anything. Many times it's 5:30 in the morning, it's dark, but we have to be the first ones there if you're going to get it. Because if you're not there, the dealers would have already purchased it the day before. So we go very early, sometimes not so good for me, but, and also then we travel to different places to get things, not just always Halloween. I do have two really good friends that are dealers. They do pick up Halloween and I purchase it from them, which makes it a lot easier. They get it, I buy it. So that's worked out really well over the years too. So welcome to the Lunch and Learn Halloween party. All of these things would have helped you have a successful Halloween party at your house for your kids. There were three major companies that produced Halloween items of paper. It was Beistel, and they were from Pennsylvania. It was Denison, that was from Massachusetts, and our own Ohio one was Gibson, that was based in Cincinnati. So those things were close to us, but not always so prevalent. Also, with all of this, it would have been thrown away. If you had a Halloween party at your house, you probably, after the party was over, you might kept 2 or 3 plates that were left over, or cups. But if you didn't throw it away, you put it in a box and then probably was forgotten, which is to my benefit. So if anybody has grandma's closet or anything, sometimes you could find it there. So we're going to go through this little section of items that I brought today, thinking I wanted a little theme rather than just bring numerous others. So most of it runs from the 1920s, but most of it is in the late 40s and the 50s, and maybe you can remember some of that yourself. So if anybody has a fun story about a costume or something that you had, let me know, we'll talk about it. So primarily, Halloween parties was an adult venue. Mostly it was for adults. Only until after World War II did it crank up for children to be involved in trick-or-treating and parties. During the war, of course, there was sugar rationing, so that stopped a lot of the candy that was made at the time. After the war, sugar became prevalent, so then everybody could make whatever. Maybe some of you experienced that. So in 1950s, we saw a surge of party pieces, costumes, cups, saucers, anything that you could get your hands on. You had a successful party. So after that all was ready, and you know what happened after the World War II? Baby boomers. So we had gazillion baby boomers looking for something to occupy their time rather than things they shouldn't have been doing. I know we had some of those in our neighborhood. So if anybody has any questions as we go along, just let me know. Like I said, I tried to bring a sample of many things that I have. If you're going to have a party, you would first start with an invitation. We're going to get all of our friends and all of our neighbors and everybody to come over for a party. All these are different types of invitations. I like it when they have the date, and rarely do they ever have the year. So, but you can kind of date it by how they look. I've kind of brought a variety. This particular one here, I was in the 4th grade and my friend had a Halloween party. So I still had that. So I thought, oh, maybe that's an omen then for me to start collecting Halloween. So those are all different time periods, all different sizes, really sought after because there was more of these because you could throw them in a drawer or bulletin board girls would put them on. So those are always a really good thing to find, little paper things I love. These would have been a place card. You would have had the little place card for everybody to come, sit at the little party. This box and this other box here are from 1920. These are some of my oldest pieces that I own. Great boxes, great to find it in boxes still. I've had those a long time. I did bring in this particular one, I brought the actual invitation. So it was just pretty, just black and orange, nothing else, but it opened up to this great witch inside. You would have filled that out. So that's a really, really interesting invitation other than those. This would have been, once you start to plan your party, how do you want to have? What do you want to do? All of these little booklets helped us to determine what we wanted to do with the party. Told you how to get food, how to have games. I particularly like the World War, the victory ones, because I love that victory. They're just little pamphlets that opened up and it tells you how to run a successful party. So they would have, I think these survived because Mom probably put them in a recipe box. But they had a lot of cool graphics, a lot of interesting things on them. Plus it was victory, which I love that time frame. So different ones, if you can take a look at them, different types how to make certain candy or popcorn balls or whatever else. Pardon me. So then once we have our party invitations out, we start to plan our party. These were booklets and things that would help you plan food. This is one of my favorites. I've had it a long time. Maybe everybody wants donuts for the party, so don't forget the donuts. This was the old 7-Up ad. It would have come in, it was a store display, it would have come in the top of a bottle. So this is a really great piece. I like a lot of advertising. So that would have stuck down in the bottle and you would have bought 7-Up for your party. Everybody that has Halloween collection has this box. I mean, everybody, because everybody kept these. Everybody would keep your cookie cutters in a box. So everybody kept them. It even has an interesting box inside where the cookie cutters are. But they must have made a bazillion of these because they are everywhere and they have a really cool graphic on the box itself. And they would have kept everything organized for you. This particular thing, if you made a cake for your party, this would have been a cake decoration. So this would have said on probably your 2-layer cake. So this is the original. I have 3 of these, but this one I love so much. So yeah, you would have just, isn't that cool? Yeah, plastic. So you probably would have held on to that. These were cupcakes. If you made cupcakes for your party, these would have been picks that you would have had and put in your cupcakes. This is an original card, original pieces that went in this. I've had this a very long time, one of my favorites. So you have cupcakes, so you have these cupcakes. There is 49 cents. So that's a really cute thing. It's hard to get them with all the pieces in them. Sometimes you see them broke. Then the rest, like this party book, these were Weenie Witch party books. These told how to fix your hot dogs. Franks is what they call them. Franks, Franks, Franks. So they had different ideas in them. They had masks on the back. You probably got these free at the store when you brought your hot dogs. It's Swift Premiums. It says for your Halloween party, serve these hot dogs. That would have made my husband very happy because he loves hot dogs. So I just don't want to miss anything as I go along here. Yeah. So this particular books that are older, I have really great graphics in it. These have everything in it, from invitations to invitations that you could have cut out and made. Do you remember the Valentine ones that you could get and cut them out? This is sort of the same as that, except for this has lots of other items in it that you could look at. Nut cups, aren't that cool? That's so cool. This particular book is uncut, so I feel fortunate to have picked this up. Actually, I think it's from, what did I say? 1952. Most of these are from 52. This one is the same as well. That's a recently acquired piece. So after you get your hot dogs and coffee cups and everything ready, you got to move on to plates and napkins. Nut cups. Who can remember these little nut cups if you went to a party? Love those. They would also be dual. You would put the person's name on the nut cup that was coming to your party, maybe put it at their place so they knew. To find these and have them survived was really a fun piece. A lot of times I like to get them with the names already placed on them, like Norman or whomever came to the party. I like that because it kind of makes it a little more personal. Various different sizes, different types. I have a real weakness for those, so I have probably double this amount, but I picked my favorites. So we have tablecloths, obviously older. I think this one's from 1945, 1950. Napkins that were never used, or a tablecloth still in the original pack. Hard to find, not used. Plates not used, cups, different. The graphics usually on the napkins are really great. They were very detailed. Of course, they were all thrown away, but you can still find napkins singular, same thing. Somebody had a 3 in a pack left, 5 in a pack left, so they kept them. They usually have really great graphics with the orange and scary, but not gory. So I like those too. These were place cards and your napkin. So you would have had this in place on your table. It had a little napkin in it, would have had whoever's name would be at the bottom of that you had invited. So to find them with a good shape as this, they usually have cupcake stains on them or something spilled on them. This is one of my favorite because I like cats so much. This is original napkin to this particular one. So I always like those too. So my husband gave this to me for Christmas a couple of years. Signs like this are really hard to find because they would have been just thrown away, like I said. But this one I loved so much, to get your refreshments this way, party this way. That's one of the few things I brought from what I have out at my house is a collection. Let's make sure I don't miss anything. Nope. This is from the 1930s. This particular sign is from the 30s. Luckily, I have a book. You wonder how I know all these and dates. There's a book about this thick. I should have brought it. Mark Ledenbach. He lives in California. He's like the king of Halloween. I think he has everything, but he does do a blog that says this sold or what, and he has a lot of interesting, a whole book. So I can look through that and go, oh, that's from the 30s, or oh, that's from the 20s, rather than sometimes just wondering. But this one's a little bit later. As you can see, it probably was beginning of the 60s, because this looks 60s, doesn't it? Yeah, with the owls, yeah. I do have some that are not in original packaging that are crepe paper, but they're very fragile and hard to get them opened. Then we'll move on to your centerpiece of your party. So you've got to have a centerpiece. You can't have a party without a centerpiece. So this beautiful black cat from German. It's a German piece. It's embossed. So it's a really great piece. This one was put out by the Beistel Company. They only put it out for 2 years because people had a tendency to bend in the waist, and then it would just rip in the waist. Also, the bottom is not level. The front is higher than the back, so it's kind of hard. How would you sit that on your table with how that looks? It wouldn't sit flat. So I'm not so sure why they would design it like that, but they got people to buy it, and this is a very nice piece. You can't find them in very great shape. That's one thing I'm pretty proud of with my collection, is it's hard to find, and I also try to buy the best. When I first started out, I would just get pieces because, but then as I got older and I got a little more money, then I could trade it in for a better one. And then I would always have a friend that would purchase those things from me. So it's a win-win for everybody. This one's a fairly new piece. I got that recently for Christmas. My husband buys me this rather than going to the mall and buy a sweater or a perfume, or I can buy that myself. So I'm always thrilled at the holiday when he buys me something. But this would have been a 4-sided fence. I only brought 2 because I only had room for that much, but it would have gone in the middle of your table, like 4-sided. She is a great thing. She's a cardboard container. You would put candy, cookies, anything in that, and put that on your table as a party decoration too. And this was one of my favorite pieces though. You're probably wondering why I have a white pumpkin man and an orange one. And I was explaining to my niece today, the company Rossbro did all the plastics. So they made this first. So then they think, well, what the heck? We got the mold. Why don't we just make orange snowman in the same design, the same little way? They would have had candy in them or suckers or whatever. But this was a recent acquisition for me. It does have a skull on the top, which I guess makes it official that it's actually a snowman slash with a pipe. So they did do that a lot with a lot of their particular pieces that they make, is they make them plastic. So yeah, that was one of the really cute things that I got. So then after we get our tables decorated, then let's get treats for the kids. So when they go home, you all probably remember these little bags that everybody got, trick-or-treating or whatever, popcorn. We were just talking about popcorn balls, or they put candy corn in them, or just anything that you could find to put in it. So I have quite a few of these. It's original pack that was never opened, that still has the band around it that tells you what you're going to get for a dime. You get 25 bags for a dime. So that's a lot, very lot. And they're in great shape, so I was able to pick that up. This is the king of all kings of bags. If you got this bag, you are doing really well. Look how big that is, you know? You put your name on it. So I'm not sure I ever saw any like this that would have been that great, but that would hold a lot. There'd be a lot for that. So always glad to find that. So once we get all of our candy, all of our so far this way, then let's go, we're gonna play some games at our party. Various different games. Most of the games all came from Bystol, the Bystol company. Most of them were a one-time use, because once you punched it out, you couldn't really use it again. So a lot of them were thrown away. But these would have had things for you to do, or act out, or however. So you would, and a lot of them, most of them, are for fortunes. Let's tell your fortune. So lots of them were for a fortune. This is a fortune one. This Zingo was a fortune one. I think this was a fortune one too. Those two were punch outs. So they would have gotten thrown away. So everybody just threw everything away at that point. So I feel very fortunate to have picked these up over the years in great shape, not too many bends in the hats. I was showing my niece this today. This is a cute little cat. I love cats, but on the back, it's got some kind of a caterpillar. So I wonder what that was all about. You know, why would they put that on the back of the hat? They never know. Made in the USA, so I know. But at least it's scary, not gory. That's what I like about it. Everybody that usually has Halloween that collects has picked up this game too, so they must have made a bunch of these. And because you could fold it back up, put it in the box. It has a really cool, it's pin the tail on the cat. So that would have been a fun way to do that. I see I have $5. I paid $5 for this. Wow. So that's a really good piece. It has tails and everything inside. So remember, pin the tail on the donkey. That's in here too. Let's just put that in there together. Some people wore their costumes to parties. So if you were able to, this is one of my favorites in really great shape, original mask. It was obviously a little girl because it's a skirt. Has great graphics, no tears in it. So probably most of them or very thin. If you'll remember, I don't know who had particular, did anybody here have box costumes? Jeannie did, you did? We did not. Our mother said the day before Halloween, well, you better go find something in the house that you're going to do for Halloween. And we were just talking about, we were hobos, scarecrows, moo-moos, ghosts, yeah. So all of those football players, we had a little brother, all of those. So that's what we were. We never had boxed ornaments, but I don't feel we missed out. But I have a lot of ornaments, or not ornaments, costumes. These are the best though. This one's one of my favorites. So I brought this to share with you. Great graphic here. This was from 1950. Would have been in like a Woolworth store, Grant's, any of those that would have come up. This would have hung for you to buy your noisemakers, party favors, hats, whatever you need. It's pretty fragile. It's been in pretty fragile condition. I keep it in a poster frame and that kind of preserves it some. But yeah, so Halloween night, great piece. I have numerous ones hanging in my house right now. So that's really the thing. The big cat, that was just a decoration. They didn't do anything. This is from 1942. So it's survived. It has a little boo-boos on it, but not bad. I dug this out of a notebook I had, so I thought, I'm taking that. They'll enjoy that. But it was made in the USA. It was also done by Bystle, one of the big companies. Garland, this guy is one of my favorites. He does not go up anymore. He only goes down. I just love him. I love his face. I love everything about him. I have several others. They might be missing a leg or an arm, but I still have them because I love them. So that pretty much takes care of everything that I have here today. Does anybody have a story they want to tell us, or anybody have been? My husband gave me a piece for Christmas that I did not bring today. $900. Yeah, that's what I said too, because he left the price on it. Now, I don't know if that was by mistake or whether he wanted to, but it would have been at this holiday show that we go to, which is coming up in November. So I've been saving my pennies so I can go. It's overwhelming for me. It's like a huge room with nothing but holiday dealers. So you're like, it's like, even to this day, I've gone to that for 30 years. You think I would be just calm. I can't be, because I think there's going to be something, well, I can't get it, or I can't find it, or something. So we have a good time with that. It's in Canfield. Yes.
I noticed there is a blue and white one which says "How to Throw a Victory Halloween Party." Now, I would imagine that's World War II.
This is World War II.
Now, also, is the reason it's not orange because of the war?
I don't know that exactly. I could not find any information much on it to know that. It may be that it's not orange. Maybe you had to use dye, different dyes and stuff. It could have been the fact that maybe they wanted you to see this rather than it being orange, to do it. You'd see it in a box, or this was probably at the grocery and you picked it up. I don't know who this Linda Darnell, but yeah, so she's promoting donuts and Royal Crown Cola. So it has a lot, it says suggestions for a teenage Halloween party, but yes, that could have been. I have not found out much. Luckily, both the two that I have picked up are not the same. And due to the fact that I love victory, time frame, I guess loving is probably the best word for victory. But this one is, I don't think there's any, same thing inside of this too. Delightful donut recipes. Now we just go to Bill's Donuts and buy them.
Since it's a victory party, is it different than a regular holiday?
This I would have thought that would have been for adults only at the time. But when it started listing in here the parties that you can have for teenagers, then it kind of changed my thinking a little bit on it. So, did that answer your question? Yeah, mostly recipes, and it does have servicemen on the front, so could have been at that time that they were trying to keep things happy at home, always was rationed. Yes, with the sugar, definitely, because we all know what happened to that. Let's see if there's any. They don't list any sugar on these donuts anywhere. It's just all coffee and things like gelatin, but no sugar was listed. So, well, Halloween was an adult party up until after the war, mostly, starting in the 20s.
Now, you said your husband sometimes buys you something.
Yes, he does.
Does he ever buy you something and he's all excited about it and you say, I already have it?
That happens now, because I used to could remember everything I owned. I mean, this was probably many years ago. And I'll pick that, and I don't want to hurt his feelings or anything. And okay. So it might be better than the one I have. So if that's the case, then I will go ahead and trade it out and then try to sell the other one. But yeah, that does happen. Not at that cost, though. This would be something much smaller of that he would have gotten. I had a cute story about this chicken dinners box, and I wanted to share it. I don't know if anybody remembers if I talked about this last time. Chicken dinner candy. Yeah, chicken dinner candy. It'd be like candy bars. So chicken dinner. We were walking at a flea market. My husband saw this laying on a table somewhere, and he went up and he opened it. It had a bunch of bolts and screws in it, because your dad did that. They put it in stuff. And so he said to the guy, I really don't want the bolts and screws. And the guy said, well, there's a lot of them in there. He said, I just want the box. And the guy turns to his wife, hey, honey, the guy just wants the box. He's like, he just wants to buy the box. So he said he took the bolts and threw them in a bag and handed it to him. And I think he said $10. So, you just never know. This is why we can find chicken dinner candy. To this day, this is kind of a funny piece too. It shows they drove around this little truck promoting chicken dinner candy. I can't imagine that it would taste like that. It's probably just a sugar, maybe in the form of like a gelatin. But I think it was in the shape of a chicken. But yeah, I found this postcard recently, and I thought, I'm putting that in the box with it so we know. So, I always close. Does anybody have any questions about anything or a story? Or yes? I have seen pictures in people having parties, and one in particular that we saw recently had noisemakers on the tables for children. So I don't know if they were just found them and geared up for them, because most of the noisemakers that I have brought in today are from the 50s. So you would take them trick-or-treating. So maybe they were a gift for the kids to take home, hopefully, with the whole, yes, ma'am. Really? Oh my gracious! Well, thank you for looking that up. Isn't that crazy? It's like, we would have bought Old Henry's or Three Musketeers or whatever. But 1923? I don't think that box is from Sperry. Yeah, it says that. Who knew? Yes. Well, a lot of this particular cat would here, if you could tell, he's a little different. That's a German piece. It's embossed. It came out of that time frame, but it was probably shipped to the United States for that reason. But this was an older piece too. But yeah, there's a lot of German pieces. So I'm going to say this one. Did I write that down? I didn't. But this is going to be, it's probably from the 30s. The girl's going to be more like, I think she was 30. It was 1950s. And I had a note that said it only was made 2 years due to the waistline, but it does have look how pretty she is, but look at her cat. Not the bit happy. Picked the wrong cat for her. But yes, this would have been from the 50s then. I do have a couple statistics, which I always like to close with, see if anybody can remember. I just took this off these are 2023 stats about Halloween. It says 72 million children under the age of 18 went trick-or-treating in the United States. That's a lot. 90 million pounds of chocolate is sold the week of Halloween. Probably half that came to my house. The chocolate. Yes, I know. 60 million houses have steps to climb to collect their treat. And I think, oh yeah, so I think last time you won this, so you're not allowed to answer. What's the number one candy in the United States that's sold during Halloween? Reese Cups. Yes, and does anybody know the second most purchased? I'm sorry? More specific. Peanut. I know, I thought that was I thought they say gummy bears. You know how children my grandkids only. No, actually I wrote it down that the least liked candy was candy corn, Necco wafers. I know, I don't know. Kids don't like that stuff, I guess. And then black licorice. I remember getting that. Do you remember getting those little boxes of black licorice? Yeah, that was pretty low on everybody's list. So that's the long and short of Halloween. I'm glad everybody came. Yes, ma'am.
I just wanted to mention the memory of my mother who died this past spring. When I was in kindergarten, she made me a monkey suit. And I heard a million times about how hard it was to stuff the tail, because it was probably about 2 feet long.
Oh my.
It was really adorable. And I don't know where it is now.
Oh.
She made that animated suit. And then when I was older, in the mid-late 60s, McDonald's appeared. And so a bunch of my friends and I dressed as McDonald's characters. We had 2 people carrying the arch. Somebody was a hamburger and somebody was a milkshake. And then somebody dressed up like a fox crest.
Okay, that was probably some mother that was behind that. Yeah, that was real. Yeah. Anything else?
Well, thank you so
You're so
very
welcome.
much, Linda.
Thank you for everybody
Once
for coming.
again, fantastic collection and your knowledge of what you have here. Folks, if you'd like to come up
Yeah,
and take
please
a
do.
closer look, please
Yep.
do so.
Questions?
Remember, the Harmon Museum is open to you free, and also there's a discount at the gift shop. So take advantage of that, and we'll see you next month.
Thank you. Yeah, it was super fun.